G'day, fellow flight simmers and random YouTubers. People have seen me doing controlling Melbourne snowy, but a lot of people say, "Well, how do you set it all up?" Um, and today it's going to be a bit about setting up. I'll do controlling as well, of course, obviously when the situation arises. But I'll show you basically how I set up before I actually connect. So the first thing, if I'm considering controlling a position, the first thing I want to do is see if it's actually occupied or being occupied by someone else. Now I'll just do an update. I open up VAT Spy, which is a really handy, and I can see that there's nobody doing Melbourne snowy. So with that information, and also before I do that, also I like to look at what the ATIS is saying, and I'll show you why later on. But if we just trying to get the ATIS, if we bring it across here, ATIS is not happening. Okay, well, we'll look at the METAR. And we see the METAR is, the winds are 190 degrees at 12. So I'm assuming runway 16 is going to be used. And I'll show you why later on, why I do that. So let's start VATSIS, and I'll show you the procedure that I use in getting it all set up before I actually connect. So we'll go through now. First of all, I want to go to position and obviously go down here, snowy. Okay. Now the next thing I do is I set up what they call the maps, and I set out. I want to know all the minimum vector and altitude, so I click that box. I want to know all the class Charlie lowest level labels, and that's really about it. Now, also, as I said, there's a high possibility runway 16. So, because you can, if I go down here and look at Melbourne, there's all these different configuration. Now let's assume runway 16 is only being used. So you go down here and you click on Melbourne runway 16 and Melbourne runway 16 names, and that's basically configured for just anything to do with runway 16, whether it's arrivals and departures. Now obviously if 27 runway 16, you can see under here Melbourne runway 16 arrival, 27 departure, so you can click on that if that's the ATIS, if that's what you're doing. So that's basically how I like to set it up. Also, there's also, okay, sorry, and I forgot to click Melbourne en route lowest level label. So I like to click that because that shows me the lowest level for class Echo airspace as well. So once I've got that going, the next thing I want to do is obviously connect, really, because everything else is ready to go. So you can put there extending, I don't know, to TBD and basically connect. Now once you're connected, of course, you see, now you can see here, I click on 124.0, which is snow, primary, and transmit, and now I'm ready to go. And so now this always comes on, so we get that system out the way, and controller, and I've got a good afternoon from Melbourne approach. So we can see here everything that's happened. Now let's have a look at the ATIS, because I need to tell people their QNH once they, so we go down to ATIS, we got Melbourne, and I keep this on another screen. We can see 16 arrival, 27 departures. Okay, so having that information, we go back to tools, maps. So 16 arrivals, so we can reconfigure our thing, and we can go 16 arrivals, 27 departures. You can see how it's highlighted there, so we can click that. So now that shows all the waypoints that are configured for runway 16 arrivals, 27 departures. Okay, who's this? November 79, whoever he is. Okay, and also now obviously I want this guy, acquire this guy. So first thing, he's in the pre-active, and there he is there, November 69. So left click on PRE, and Now that changes, and now I accept him. And now, because I'm connected, hit the F6 button. When I select him, hit the F6 and tell him to contact me. So once I establish, I don't fill in this space out until I've established contact with this guy. So that's basically how I set up, before. Otherwise, what happens if you don't do all that? Somebody contacts you and you're trying to reconfigure everything. Have everything configured before you actually connect. So get yourself all ready, and I think that's the best way to prepare, really. That's the way I found it. Hi James, how you going? Good to see you back. So November 7/9. So he's flying a citation. He wants to go up to 450. I think that's their maximum height, the old citations. So what have you been doing? You've been studying too hard for your tower exam or something, have you, James? Okay, just to give you a rundown of what's happening. We got a guy coming in from Singapore. Actually, another thing, if I'm extending to Tail and Bend, which I didn't do, silly me, obviously I go over to sectors and I go down to Tail and Bend here. Tail and Bend, left click on that and click that and bring them over here. Now apply. Now you can see that this has changed. And while this is in the pre-active, left click on PRE. That'll get him going, so I'll left click and accept him. And now I'll tell him to, and before that, if I'm doing tail and bend, therefore I left click tail and bend, not primary, transmit, because Snowy is your primary and your transmit, and tail and bend is, so long as you've got those in green, you're going to be able to receive. So left click, hit the F6 button, tail and bend frequency should come on, and let's hope he. So we've got 16 arrivals, 27 departures. Also, another thing I like to keep on another window is this error window, because this comes in handy, because more often than not, well, not more often than not, you get, you're on approach, are you, Jane? No, I'm an approach controller, maybe just working too hard, thinking too hard on that. Yeah, it is, you are. Mind, your approach controller can get quite...
Melbourne Centre, good day, Singapore 217, flight level 390, we're 17 miles out from Hindi.
Now see how these configuration, he's not like a circle, that means he's not squawking the right code. Singapore 217, g'day, Melbourne Centre, squawk 1116.
Squawking 1116, Singapore 217, also Singapore 217 requesting descent.
Singapore 217, Singapore 217, you'll clear the RB6 Alpha arrival, runway 16, when ready, descend to flight level 210.
Clear the RB6 Alpha for runway 16 and we're descending on our way down now to flight level 210, Singapore 217.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck with that, James. Yeah. Yeah, 50 hours. It's well, don't burn yourself out, James, because I did that once, and yeah, always sort of stay fresh. Now this guy doesn't want to talk to me, but anyhow, just have a look. I like to have a look at who these guys are. Okay, so he is from America somewhere, KSMO, wherever that is. He's probably fallen asleep. It's probably midnight where he is or whatever. Yeah, so also I forgot to identify him. If he's not squawking the right squawk code, obviously the first thing you do is you ask him for a level. If he hasn't told you, you identify him. And yes. So what do we got? I'll get the, also I'll need ATIS for Sydney as well. Yeah, ATIS for Sydney is 16 left and right. Okay, 16 left and right. Good. Yeah, as I was saying, I like to have this error window as well. And the reason is because, say if you tell the guy, tell him his squawk code 2632, and if he doesn't squawk that code, this error window will tell you. And so it sort of stops a lot of headaches and think, why aren't I seeing his data tag right and all this? Well, this picks it up. So if he's not scoring, if you do something wrong or the pilot does something wrong, this picks it up. So this error window is very good. I always have it always handy. Okay, so always, I might as well. I don't really like doing Wollongong because sometimes it can get a little bit too busy, and especially with simultaneous approaches and parallel runways and stuff like that. And I like to have, I like to do, rather than extending, and I see some people extending, doing 3 or 4 sectors, and if they can do that and they can do that efficiently, good on them. But I like to concentrate and do a good job 100% of the time rather than an average job 50% of the time. So that's my philosophy. Does for east and north? No. So, okay. Is it Missoula in Montana? Okay. Yeah, well, I don't know what time it is over there, but anyhow, he's obviously fallen asleep or something, or he's gone. Okay, so I don't really, I see people really hassle pilots, trying to go, contact me. End of the day, if they don't want to contact you, well, who am I to start chasing them? I mean, they're the ones who want to be in a controlled environment. If they don't want to talk to me, well, I ain't going to push the issue. MB information Charlie. Yeah, so I don't really chase pilots, and once he's outside my airspace, well, I'll just untag him or hand him off. So what do we got? We got DOS on. Who's doing DOS? Clem, good old Clem. We've got approach on, and we know who that is. Oh, Jack. And Daniel's doing Moorabbin Tower.